Hi! When you hear silhouette, do you think black? Well, I do, but today we're going to use white instead for our clean and simple silhouette flowers card using the Stampin' Up! Friend Like You stamp set and friendly silhouettes dies. Not only will our silhouette flowers be white, so are all the layers. I'm Shelley Godby, the owner and CEO of Stamping Smiles, and for 18 years I've been teaching others how to create their own hand stamped smiles. So watch as I add a lot of color to make our clean and simple silhouette flowers card. Here's a closer view of the Friend Like You stamp set and coordinating friendly silhouettes dies. And when you order the two of these together using the special bundle item number I've listed right here, you'll save 10% on both. I just have a thing for silhouettes, and this is a beautiful, beautiful set. All right, so we're going to start with some die cutting. So before I grab my die cutting machine, let's prepare our cardstock. And I have Whisper White cardstock here. And this is a SNAIL adhesive sheet. This is the die we're using is really intricate, and so it's going to be a lot quicker and easier to turn this into a self-adhesive die cut than applying glue afterwards. And Stampin' Up! Used to carry these, just loved them. They've discontinued it, but I'll show you where you can pick them up on Amazon. I'll have a link under the video. So peel that off, that backing, and we'll put this on. There we go. And so we just need to remember that this side goes down when we're die cutting, and so then the back will have the adhesive on it. So I'm going to grab my Big Shot and we'll be die cutting this and a window for our card. I've got my Big Shot die cutting machine, so now what we need to do is build up the thickness, and we'll start with the Big Shot platform. Because we have a thin metal die, I'm going to use a thin die adapter, and because it's an intricate die, instead of a cutting pad, I'm going to use the precision base plate. This cuts through those intricate dies like butter. So the writing side, that goes down. Okay, so next we have our cardstock, and we want to make sure the adhesive side goes down. Put that right on there. And then our friendly silhouettes dies. Very nice. And so we'll use the flowers one. Okay, so the way I designed the card, I want an edge along the bottom, this big of an edge. So I'm going to take this to the top and over to here. Fantastic. So now we just need to finish with a cutting pad. This is a pretty new one, looking good. All right, we'll put this on top and crank that through. That's putting down 3,000 pounds of pressure. Okay, so whenever I do an intricate die, this is probably good. It was when I did it, but I just go ahead and back up because I need to bring my platform back over here anyway. Okay, and so look, it just cuts through this like butter. Amazing, isn't it? All right, that's intricate. I don't want to just pull on it. We'll work on that in just a bit. But now we're going to change things out because I need precise placement for the next die we're going to use, and we'll be using the layering ovals dies. Okay, so instead of the Big Shot platform, we'll put that aside, and we're going to use the magnetic platform. Stampin' Up! Used to carry this too. They don't anymore. I'll have a link under my video for both the precision base plate and magnetic platform. Because if you don't have those, they are just really very nice things to have. So some more Whisper White cardstock. And then the largest of the smooth edge oval dies. And we want that centered, and see how that's holding it in place. Very nice. If you don't have that, you can use some washi tape, post-it note. I just really like the magnetic platform. And then to finish it, and this thickness, we don't need to add the thin die adapter. The magnetic platform is designed for the thin metal dies. All right, so then we'll go ahead and crank this through. Just love a die cutting machine. And so then we've got our hole in the paper for our window. You know, we can keep this piece for another project. We've got our two die cuts, so now let's carefully get this out of here. And so what I have, this is a foam mat that comes with the brush tip for the Take Your Pick tool. And so when they came out with this, I just went ahead and purchased another take your pick tool. I leave the paper piercing on the other end because the two of these work together so well. And then the other one always has a spatula and then easy to switch. Okay, so you can just gently rub this over. I mean, the precision base plate does such a good job. A lot of those little pieces already fell out. I just want to be careful. I don't want to just pull on this because it's very intricate. So we've got the little poke out holes. Go ahead and gently push on those to help this come out. Here we go. Fantastic. We're getting there. Let's pull on that ever so gently. A lot of this will be discarded. You'll see when I'm done. You can see that die. See all these thin images we'll have. All right, we don't need that. It's just holding it in there. That's, the negative image. Okay, so we got it out. This, we have that edge along the bottom. Gently pull that. There, so that came out almost all in one piece. That's clinging to it because of the adhesive. And we've got a couple little pieces here, look. There, this is going to give it more definition with those pushed out. This is the paper behind it that's off a little bit. So there we go. Doesn't that look nice? So we'll set this aside because we have one more die cut to do, and this time it will be with a punch. So I have another piece of Whisper White cardstock, and just Whisper White because it was handy. Didn't have to be in particular color for what we'll be using this for. I have the 1-inch circle punch. And I want to get towards the center. I don't need perfection. There we go. We will use both of these pieces. We're going to do some masking on this card, and that's how we're going to get all this color. So we've got that. We'll set this aside for right now. And then we have another piece of Whisper White that we'll fill with color. So let's just go ahead and place this on here. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I'd like it to be centered. My other one didn't end up centered quite as well as I liked, but it still was underneath and you can't see it. We need a sun, and this will be our sun, and we're going to fill it up, so I don't want the blue over the sun. So this is what we call a mask, and I want to hold it in place while I'm adding the color. So what I have here, Dotto temporary adhesive. Again, Stampin' Up! Used to carry this stuff a long time ago, and I got addicted to it because when I'm doing something like this, I just really like this stuff, and it'll come off real easily. So I want my sun right there. So now I've got my placement. We'll put this aside. Now we'll start filling in with the color, and this gets to be a lot of fun. And we'll start with Call Me Clover, one of the 2018-2020 in colors. Very pretty color. So we'll pick this up, slide it in, and you know what? I should have on my stamping sleeves so I don't smudge all this Whisper White cardstock, because I tend to get ink, so a quick swipe. Ink on my hands when I'm stamping, and then I ruin things. Like, oh no. All right, so we're going to, I want to make sure I'm grabbing the right, yeah, here we go. The sponge Brayers. And I'm rolling it across the pad, not just back and forth. See, if you go back and forth, you're just going to get ink in that same half, okay? So we're going to roll it like you would a paintbrush if you were painting. And then we'll start along the bottom because this is our sun. So I want some green grass. And because everything is white, we're going to put this down nice and deep. Okay. Part of that bottom will be covered up. I'm working mostly, and the edges will be covered. Or I would have gone off the edge, kept going, so I didn't get a big concentration of color right there. So let's have a look at our window again. Yeah, that's looking pretty doggone good. I'm liking that. Okay, so we are done with Call Me Clover. So a little push, pull on that lip, and click, and just in case you have ink somewhere, do this. All right, so now I want a little bit of brown, and I've got the Early Espresso. And I just want a thin line here. I tried the sponge dauber, and it was really a lot bigger than I wanted. So I went back to my Fantastics. I really like these. You have the bullet point, and I can't remember the name of that, but the point and the bullet being rounded. We're going to use the rounded one. I found these a long time ago, and they just come in handy at times for things like this. And I'll have a link in my video for those too. All right, so let's load, what we call load it up, right? Get it on there, and we'll brush it along here. Because I just didn't have the control like I said I wanted. It was just a really big line. So that was a little bit more than I was hoping for. I was wanting to look a little bit watery. So here's what we're gonna do. I just love tools. Tools just make this whole craft so much fun. I've got a blender pen. So let's just soften this up and blend it out. There we go. So I don't want it perfectly straight. And down into our grass. Isn't that looking just really good? Okay, so then next we'll add our sky. For the sky, we'll use Balmy Blue. So we'll pick this up, slide it in, quick swipe, and another one of the sponge Brayers. All right, by now you know you're rolling it across. And this is where our mask comes in, so we don't have a blue moon. All right, so I'm using just these 3 colors for the background to create our skyline. So lighter here, and then I'll get deeper up here. And then we'll turn that a little bit so it's not just a straight line. Okay. Doesn't matter all the way to the top because we'll be covering it all the way to the side. But we've got that variation of color, but we've got some more deepness because remember all of our layers are white, so we need to have a lot of color on here. Oh, that is looking really good. Okay, so we're done with this. So let's do a little push, pull, click. And my stamping sleeves, I don't know if I said that already. I'll have a link under the video. I was tired of ruining my cards with ink smudges, and so my mom and I came up with these. Okay, so now let's remove this. And masking means it masks the image. Well, we masked it and left it white. Perfect. And that dado, it just rubs right off. It's a temporary adhesive. So now we're also going to use this because we want a yellow sun, but I don't want to get yellow anywhere else. And this is going to keep, we'll put this on, that'll keep the yellow from getting anywhere else. So again, we want to use that dado adhesive, help hold this in place. I'll bring that to get it going. There we go. Now this is reverse masking. And so our sun will be Pineapple Punch. So we see we've got the Call Me Clover, Early Espresso, and the Balmy Blue. Aren't those gorgeous together? They're one of my 2018-2020 in color combinations in my ebook. And I'll have a link for that where you can purchase that if you'd like. All right, so again, pick this up, slide in, Pineapple Punch, another one of the 2018-2020 in colors. And that sponge brayer, well, for this, it worked really well. So we'll load this up and color this in. And see how the yellow, we would have made a mess without this. Isn't that a nice bright yellow? I want it a little bit darker. I don't want just a solid one. There we go. And pick this up, click, and another quick swipe. And this is so much fun when you remove the mask. Doesn't that look good? All right, so normally when I mask, I use paper because I don't want that void that you get with cardstock, but I wanted it with this. I think that looks really good. Okay, and so now for our silhouette. This will go right about here. I gotta do another swipe. I don't want to here. Look at that. Doesn't that look sharp? Okay, so that placement's really good. I'm going to want this piece to come up and underneath. So we're hanging over the edge a little bit, but that's okay. That is all right. And so let's go ahead and peel this off because we have that. It's a self-adhesive die cut, right, with that, the adhesive sheet we put on there. Look how much quicker that is. The alternative would be to use the multi-purpose liquid glue and carefully put it on in every one of those, you know, and I'm not opposed to that. And then let it dry until it's translucent. Then it becomes tacky and you can work with it. So let's just set this here. And see with those measurements, I know I want to go pretty confident. I want to go to the bottom border or the bottom edge of all of that color. Okay. Like that placement. Let's check one more time. Okay, looking good. So let's not press this one down because that's going to come over, and this one too. Let's leave those up, but let's press everything else down. Oh, so pretty against our, okay, and that one too. And then we've got this little bit hanging over, not much. So we'll just take our paper snips, and I like to cut from the back side because look, I have an edge to trim against. Just to run my scissors along, very easy. So we've got that all cleaned up. So last time what I did, I put the adhesive on here. I've decided to be easier on here. Let's try that instead because it'll cover up a good bit. So I've got my SNAIL adhesive. Put your finger where those ridges are. SNAIL for super neat, affordable inline adhesive. And if you go nice and slow like a snail, you get a really good trail of adhesive. So what's important on this is not that it's perfect, just that it doesn't stick out over the edges and we get it the way we want it. And I want this. So, but we want to, okay, come up here. We don't want to see that white on the bottom. Okay. And if we can, let's see. Oh, that paper piercing tool will be really good. Bringing this flower up and over. Ah, there we go. Oh my goodness, isn't that pretty? Let's see how we did on the back. Hey, not perfect, but nothing's hanging out. So let's press everywhere. See, aren't you glad your hands aren't dirty because you got your stamping sleeves? Because if you had smudge, really, that would have been enough to bring tears to your eyes. All right, and so now I'm going to use the greeting from here. I thought, oh, this looks so peaceful. Enjoy the little things. That is just, I like that. It just fits our scene. So what I have here is a Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad. And we're going to just stamp right over top all of this color. And so little things is at a slant. So I'm looking at I want the to be straight, and then everything else will just work out. And let it touch the sun a little bit, staying inside of our oval frame. Oh, doesn't that look nice? All right, and so then just to finish it up, all we do is layer this onto some Whisper White thick cardstock, and I put that, no dimensionals, just flat on there. And the Whisper White thick, it's that same great finish as the Whisper White, but it's a lot sturdier for a base. It can handle the layers and it'll stand up when somebody gets this lovely card on their shelf or their mantle or wherever they put it. And I'll have the link to my blog post with all the measurements for this card and the supplies too. And so there you go. So, silhouette flowers in white for a clean and simple card that just turned out oh so lovely. If you'd like to make my clean and simple silhouette flowers card, all the supplies are listed below the video and available to order now in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. I'm Shelly Godby, teaching you how to create hand stamped smiles. Thanks for watching.